I got the horses in the back. Horse stack is attached. Hat is matte black. I got the boots as black to match. Riding on a horse. Ah! You can whip your Porsche. I've been in the valley. You ain't been up off that porch now.
Look at that. Look at that crisp. A brand new model mat for a brand new era. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get into this. You know, I feel like this review was kind of one you probably saw coming. I mean, when we found out this was a model Bachmann was making, I decided right then and there, yeah, I was going to get it. And ladies and gentlemen, today is that day. We finally have the Bachmann Beau with the operating headlights and probably, yeah, the first model Bachmann has ever done that does not have that stupid eye mechanism. And it's Beau. I'm still just kind of shocked they made Beau. That still feels a little bit, you know what, it is what it is, but like, all right, you know what I mean? So you may remember me talking about Beau a while ago. I believe I mentioned it when I found out that Rebecca and all those other characters were coming out too in the announcement video that I made. Again, here we are. I found this at the model shop today and just kind of had to get it when I saw it. It's just weird. It's a freaking 440 Thomas character. Yeah, we don't have it out of the box yet, so we haven't had a proper look at it, but truth be told, this is looking to be at least one of Bachmann's more decent models. I can't say the best just yet. There's a couple things I can already see that are a little bit weird with the model and maybe a bit incorrect, but again, we'll get to that later. First things first, let's start with the box, which truth be told, I don't want to spend too much time on. Let's just start with the basics. It says Beau with operating headlights without moving eyes. It's going to clarify to you that this is the one that Bachmann does that does not do that. Though, interestingly, if you go to the back, engine's eyes move side to side. It shows Thomas and, you know, the other characters that do have that. But you would think it would mention, just like it does on the front, that Beau does not have that feature. I don't know, a little weird. Besides that, at least for the art, it's identical to every other Bachmann box. You got the Thomas in the corner, Thomas and Friends there. Kind of like a brief catalog there on the back. But I also have to say this is probably the most ugly packaging Bachmann has ever done. What were they thinking with this bubble crap? So chances are, if you, you know, are into model trains like me in 00 or HO scale, you recognize that, you know, bubble packaging there. Why would you not just give this thing a box? Why would you put it in this shrink wrap, but also inside of one of the... It's just kind of redundant, you know, and it also looks hideous. I mean, it's cool we can see Beau. You can see his face there in his headlamp, and that's cool, but this looks like shit. I'm not gonna lie. I just feel like if they went the Hornby route, right, and made some actual proper Thomas and Friends boxes, that would not only look so much better, but function a bit better too, because sometimes you just need to store these things, or, you know, open them to see if they work or something, and still have the packaging into... You know what I'm saying? It's just stupid. Let's just open this thing. Enough talking about it. All right, and let's get him out of here. Yep, it is literally that bubble packaging inside of that shrink wrap. Oh my god, this is... I mean, I'm not mad, but it's also like, again, it's just so redundant. It doesn't even have like the sleeve thing. It's just, yep, that is just straight to the model. All right, enough chit chat. Let's open this thing. So it's going to open from the side here, or towards the tender there, just like so. And okay, all right. Wow, there is virtually no weight to this thing at all. I mean, not like it was going to have much anyway. It's a 440 in HO scale. Also, before we get too far into that, this does look to be HO scale. I don't think this is 00 or modified at all to be anything, you know, like 00. From what I can tell, this should be the exact same as their Jupiter or every other 440 tooling, which is HO scale, just, you know, turned into Beau. This is not necessarily 00. It's just a HO with the hook and loop coupler. Now, that aside, I do have to say Beau is at least a very interesting model. Now, I really like this livery. I love the paint they have on him. I have to say the decals here and everything has been applied pretty well. The gold does not look that great. You know, it does look kind of, you know, painted, not too convincing, but it could also be worse, truth be told. And let's look at that fit. That's a pretty nice fit. Again, I can't say I've ever cared for that moving eye, you know, mechanism that most of these things have. It makes the engines run like crap. That's just a decent looking face. I kind of prefer that. Now, I do wish the eyes were more positionable, and maybe I'll drill them out soon to make them that way. But again, I can't say I'm too mad. We don't really have anything in terms of cab detail. Looks like that just goes straight. Maybe that's weight. Yeah, that should be weight inside of there. And we also have a little socket there, which goes from tinder to cab. The paint on the wheels looks absolutely amazing, and that is on the tinder as well, or tinder wheels, I should say. Flip this guy over, and it's looking like, yeah, everything on the other side is identical and looking pretty beautiful. We do have some glazing in that front window there, and looks like all the ones on the front. There's a closer look at that face too, and the operating headlamp. You can see the little bulb in there. I'm very excited to see. I wonder if it's like a just forward thing, if it works in forward and reverse. Interestingly, he does not have buffers. Now, Beau, when he appeared in the Thomas and Friends show, did have buffers. It's kind of weird Bachmann didn't give them to Beau here, but truth be told, it does make sense, I guess, for the engine he is. It didn't make sense for Beau to have buffers in the first place, but if you're going for accuracy, that is something you're going to have to add. We've got a little bit of molded detail there on the chassis, some riveting there on the tinder. It looks like the only thing really missing from the body is some very basic pipe work, and they've left a hole there for you if you did want to add it yourself. That might be a upgrading Beau video. You know, that upgrading Beau, that might be a video coming soon. We'll see, we'll see. And we also have a very beautiful, all molded, but pretty well detailed chimney. As you can see there, a unpainted whistle, which would look better with a little bit of gold paint on it. Again, might have to fix that soon. And a wood load that kind of, this looks Model Power-esque. Like, this looks kind of like the quality you'd get from a $30 train. Bachmann, do better. I'm just, whatever. It could be worse, again, I guess, but that really does kind of suck. Now, stuff like this isn't a make or break. This is pretty easy to fix if you take out that wood load and just put some real wood stacks in there. But it does, again, stink. You have to do that. That aside, though, and aside from the basic, detail things, which, of course, Bachmann kind of fell back on because these are more, they're Thomas trains. You can't take it too seriously. That being said, though, this thing was $150. That's probably one of the more expensive Bachmann trains you can get now. You'd expect a little bit more, and from holding this thing, and again, it might just be from holding it, let me go ahead and say, this tinder connection does not feel very great if you got it in your hands. That kind of sucks. Now, the detail that is here is pretty decent. As you can see there again, we've got some nice riveting, some stuff on the chassis. The funnel looks great. The headlamp looks great. A little bit of molding there on the dome. Actually, all domes. But it could be worse. It's just things that maybe for this price you don't expect to be there, and that maybe shouldn't be there. That's just how I feel, though. For the detail that is there, and for, purely aesthetics, I'm giving this thing, at least right now, like a 7.5 out of 10. Not the greatest, but for what it is, it's definitely unique. I'm not mad at this. I'm kind of happy, again, that I have a Beau. He's very unique. But again, if we're going purely off aesthetics, that 7.5 feels pretty fair. There's not really much to him besides that. And really, if you want an accurate Beau, you have to add quite a bit to this. But if you just wanted a, American 440 Thomas character, there you go. He's here now, and he's kind of decent. He looks pretty all right. But all right. All of that aside, we've talked about aesthetics. How does this thing run? How does he perform? How does he look next to other HO scale engines? Well, let's go find out. All right, so here we are. We finally got Beau on the train tracks. Let's give him a bit of a nudge. Okay, he was a little temperamental there at first, but we are getting some motion. Doesn't seem to like slow speeds very much, as you can see there. Really at all, but we do have some decent motion, and it does look like that headlight works in both forward and reverse. Alright, it's also worth noting he hasn't really been ran in yet. This is fresh out of box, basically. I did run him just a tiny bit, a little bit ago, to make sure he did run. Alright, he's got the car. This is the paint car, and what is that, 4 plank wagons and a toad. I mean, he's doing pretty alright so far. That looks pretty decent. I mean, for how light he was, I was really expecting worse. That's not too bad, I guess. Now, keep in mind, he does, again, have that knuckle coupler there at the front, so we'll be testing that a little bit more in depth later. But for now, let's just see him in operation with these, normal 00 scale wagons, which he looks ridiculous next to. Or maybe let's just let him run in. That might be a good idea, too. Let's let him actually, work properly. Okay, here we are about 5 minutes later. I think all that lubricants finally had some time to get into that motor. He's running a bit more properly now. I want to say he's going pretty smoothly. Here he comes around that bend, as you can see there. And he's handling pretty well with those cars. A lot better than I expected him to, given he's so, again, small and such a light engine. That's pretty cool. That's a lot more decent than I expected. Real quick, here he comes at that slow speed. Yeah, look at that. Look at that. After that little run-in, that slow speed is so much better. I also have to say that light is pretty decent, too. It stays consistently as bright as you see it here. Nice. This is... okay. All right. I think I just said all of that, pretty much. But there you go. You got it a second time. You're welcome. All right. 3 coaches and a van. Now, being fair, these are not the best coaches. They're not very heavy as is. They're the Hogwarts Express ones from Bachmann, so... this could go, yeah, again, not the best test, but let's see. At least we get to see him with coaches. Forwards. Look at that. He's actually doing pretty decently. He's holding up all right. All right, let's give him a couple loops, see how this does. All right, not too high of a speed, but he is on the way. Look at that. For such a lightweight engine, like I wish I had like something to tell you guys exactly how much he weighs, but when you feel him, or if you ever do get one and you pick him up, you'll know exactly what I'm saying. There is no weight to this thing, so seeing him pull anything with any sort of size, I guess, is just kind of mind-boggling to me. But look at that, he's doing pretty dang well, and he looks pretty good. Let's go ahead and get that out of the way. We have to admit, he may be a nothing character, but at least he looks pretty damn good when he's in motion. Sometimes that's all you can ask for. And back around the corner. Look at that. That is a decent little engine. I can't lie. With running, not taken into account, I think we can bump him up to a smooth 8. He still really lacks in that detail department, but he runs a lot better than I ever could have guessed. Maybe even 8.5. I think that he's not a Bachmann best, but he is definitely a Bachmann. Maybe I didn't see or respect your game at first. He's got a mustache, too. He looks like Sam Elliott, so that's pretty cool. All right, now it's time for this knuckle coupler, which, as you can see here, is a pretty much fully working knuckle coupler. We got a slag car, and we've got a giraffe car. Great combination, I know. Let's see how it performs. All right, bring him forward. Looks like we've got a couple. All right, and he's off it. Okay. Now, again, that's really not a whole lot of weight, but it's holding up. The height could be a little bit better, I guess, but it's holding up. He's pulling them pretty well. All right, so that front coupler is completely operational from the looks of it. He can haul pretty well in either direction. What a surprise. Still not worth $170, though.
Either subscribe, donate, or get the fuck out.